The rain hammered the roof of our family's old Victorian house in suburban Boston, like it was trying to drown out the screams inside my head. I burst through the back door, soaked to the bone, my fists clenched around the crumpled letter I'd found hidden in Jordan's desk, the one from his fiancée, calling off the wedding with words that sliced deeper than any knife. I can't pretend anymore, Jordy. It's over. But it wasn't the betrayal that gutted me. It was the photo tucked inside. A candid shot of him locked in an embrace with a man I'd never seen, their lips inches apart under the neon glow of a Manhattan bar sign. I slammed the letter down on the kitchen table, my heart pounding like a war drum, and that's when Jordan walked in. Fresh from his corner office at the investment firm, tie loosened, that trademark grin plastered on like armor. Alex? What the hell, man? You look like you just saw a ghost. His eyes flicked to the paper, and in that split second the grin shattered, replaced by a raw animal fear that made my big brother, the one who'd always been the golden boy, the planner, the savior, look like a kid again, small and breakable. What is this, Jordy? I whispered, my voice cracking as I shoved the photo toward him, the rain outside mirroring the storm brewing between us. He didn't answer at first. He just sank into the chair, burying his face in his hands, and in that silence, I realized the perfect life he'd built brick by brick was crumbling, and I was the only one close enough to catch the pieces. I guess I should back up, because that rainy Tuesday night in October wasn't where this nightmare, or whatever the hell it was, began. No, it started way back in the sticky summer of '98, when Jordan and I were just two punk kids racing bikes down the cracked sidewalks of our neighborhood in Dorchester. He was 14 to my 11, already tall and broad-shouldered, with that mop of chestnut hair that made all the girls at the block parties giggle and blush. Me? I was the scrawny tag-along, all elbows and freckles, worshipping the ground he walked on like he was some kind of superhero. Our folks weren't around much back then. Dad buried in his long-haul trucking routes across the Midwest, Mom juggling double shifts at the hospital to keep the lights on. So Jordan stepped up. He'd wake me for school with a gentle shake and a peanut butter sandwich wrapped in foil, then drag me to Little League practices where he'd pitch like a pro, even though he hated the way the coach yelled. "You're gonna crush it today, Lex," he'd say, ruffling my hair before sending me up to bat. And damn if I didn't every time, because with Jordan in my corner I felt invincible. By high school, that invincibility rubbed off on him too. He was the quarterback, the debate team captain, the kid who volunteered at the soup kitchen on weekends and still aced his SATs. Colleges fought over him, Harvard, Yale, the works, but he chose Boston University, close enough to commute and check on me. "Gotta keep an eye on my little bro," he'd wink, but I knew it was more than that. We were all each other had, really. Mom's cancer diagnosis hit like a freight train our junior and senior years. She fought like a lion, but by the time Jordan graduated, she was gone. Dad? He sent checks from some diner in Ohio, but showing up? That was never his style. Jordan buried the grief deep, channeled it into his MBA at Wharton. He landed that dream job on Wall Street, junior analyst at Goldman Sachs, rubbing elbows with the suits who moved markets like chess pieces. Weekends he'd hop the Acela back to Boston, regaling me over burgers at our favorite dive with tales of closing million-dollar deals and charming the bosses at rooftop galas. "It's all falling into place, Alex," he'd say, clinking his root beer against my Coke. "The plan's perfect. Climb the ladder, find the girl, settle down in a brownstone with a yard for the kids. You'll be Uncle Alex, spoiling 'em rotten." I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Hell, I lived for those visits. By then I was grinding through my own degree in graphic design at MassArt, crashing on friends' couches in the South End, doodling logos for startups that never quite took off. Jordan was my anchor, the one who proofread my portfolios and slipped me cash for rent when commissions dried up. He even set me up with his perfect match, a colleague's sister named Emily, sweet as pie with a laugh like wind chimes. We dated for 6 months, but it fizzled. She was great, but I was distracted, always chasing that high of creation, that spark Jordan seemed to hoard effortlessly. Then came Sarah. She was the crown jewel in his master plan. A lithe, ambitious marketing exec from Connecticut, with porcelain skin and a resume that screamed old money. They met at a charity gala in the Hamptons, some black tie affair where Jordan charmed her over caviar and champagne. "She's the one, Lex," he told me on a video call from his sleek midtown apartment, the city skyline twinkling behind him like a promise. "Smart, funny, gets the grind. We're talking engagement by Christmas. I was thrilled for him, jealous maybe in that quiet way brothers get when one's life looks photoshopped. We planned the proposal trip. A weekend in Napa Valley, vineyards rolling like emerald waves under the California sun. I even helped pick the ring. A flawless emerald-cut diamond from Tiffany's, set in platinum, understated yet screaming forever. You're gonna nail this, Jordy. I texted him the night before he flew out. She's lucky as hell. His reply was a thumbs-up emoji and a voice note. Couldn't do any of it without you, bro, love ya. That was Jordan, effortless affection, the kind that made you believe in fairy tales. But Napa didn't go as planned. He came back solo, the ring untouched in his carry-on, his eyes shadowed like he'd aged a decade. Cold feet, he muttered over takeout Thai in my cramped studio apartment. Hers, not mine. Said she needed space to focus on her career. I bought it because why wouldn't I? Sarah was a powerhouse, maybe the timing was off. He threw himself into work harder than ever. Promoted to VP by 32. Featured in Forbes 30 Under 30, for revolutionizing sustainable investing. The guy was untouchable. Life rolled on like that for a couple years. I'd scrape by on freelance gigs, album covers for indie bands, murals for hipster cafes, while Jordan jetted to Davos and Dubai, always circling back with stories that made my world feel small but safe. He started dating again casually, a yoga instructor here, a tech founder there. Nothing stuck, but he laughed it off. Plenty of fish, right? The plan's flexible. Then last spring the letter arrived. Not the one I found that rainy night, the precursor, a glossy invite to his engagement party. Sarah 2.0 or so. I thought. Lauren, a poised lawyer from DC with a pedigree that matched his. They'd reconnected at a alumni mixer. Sparks flew over craft cocktails and shared ambitions. This is it, Alex, he said, hugging me tight at the airport when I flew down for the party. The real deal. You're my best man, obviously. The bash was straight out of a magazine. A rooftop terrace overlooking the Potomac, fairy lights strung like stars, a string quartet playing Sinatra. Lauren glowed in ivory silk, her hand never leaving Jordan's as they toasted futures and family. I watched from the sidelines, nursing a whiskey sour, my chest swelling with this weird mix of pride and ache. He had it all, the career, the love, the blueprint for happiness. And me? I was happy for him, truly. Or so I told myself. That's when I noticed the guy. Tall, olive-skinned, with dark curls and eyes like polished obsidian. He hovered at the bar, his gaze flicking to Jordan every few seconds. Not in a creepy way, just intense, like he was memorizing the slope of my brother's jaw. When Jordan caught his eye, there was a hesitation, a flicker of something electric and forbidden, before he turned back to Lauren with that polished smile. I chalked it up to envy. Who wouldn't steal a glance at the golden couple? The party wound down with cake and confetti, but as I crashed on their guest room couch I couldn't shake it. Around 2 a.m. the door creaked open, Jordan Thai Askew slipping out like a thief. I followed on instinct, barefoot down the marble hallway, peeking through the cracked library door. He was on the phone, voice low and ragged. I can't keep doing this, Eli. It's killing me. Pause, then a choked laugh. Yeah, well, your fault for being so damn irresistible. Eli. The name lodged in my throat like a bone. I backed away, heart racing, and spent the rest of the night staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'd imagined it. By morning, Jordan was all sunshine, flipping pancakes and planning the wedding like nothing had cracked. Summer blurred into fall. Lauren's excitement was infectious. Bridezilla vibes tempered by genuine warmth. Jordan proposed on a hot air balloon ride over the Shenandoah Valley, the ring catching the dawn like fire. She said yes with tears and a kiss that made headlines in their social feeds. I flew in for fittings, bachelor party brainstorming, the works. He was electric, planning every detail. The venue in the Berkshires, the menu with farm-to-table flair, vows exchanged under a canopy of maples. But cracks spiderwebbed. Late-night calls he'd take in the bathroom, voice hushed. Abrupt cancellations on our bro trips. Work emergency, he'd say, but his eyes were haunted. And Lauren? She started pulling away, subtle at first. Fewer texts, strained smiles. I confronted him once, over beers at Fenway during a Red Sox doubleheader. You okay, man? Really? He drained his Sam Adams, stared at the diamond. Never better. Why? You just seem off. A beat, then that grin. Just nerves. Big life change and all. I let it go because brothers do that, swallow the doubts to keep the peace. October hit like a gale. I was knee-deep in a mural commission for a Somerville coffee shop, vibrant abstracts of city grit, when my phone buzzed with Lauren's name. Alex, can we talk? Off the record. We met at a quiet bistro in Georgetown, her fingers twisting a napkin into knots. It's over, she said flatly, sliding an envelope across the table. Tell him I love him, but I can't marry a lie. The letter. The photo. My world tilted as I unfolded it in the cab ride back to Logan. The city a smear of lights. Jordan's face in that embrace. Tender, unguarded. Alive in a way I'd never seen with her.
Eli, I presumed.
The bar sign read the Eagle's Nest. A dive I'd Googled later. A known spot in Chelsea, the kind of place where secrets breathed easy. That's how I ended up on his doorstep that night. Pounding rain turning the world to gray. And that's when he broke, really broke, collapsing into the chair like a puppet with cut strings. Alex, His voice was a rasp, hands trembling as he reached for the photo. This isn't what you think. Bullshit. I snapped, the word echoing too loud. You've been lying to everyone. To her. To me. He flinched but didn't deny it. Instead, he stood, slow as an old man, and pulled a bottle of scotch from the cabinet. The good stuff, the kind we split after Mom's funeral. He poured 2 glasses, handed me one, and sank back down. Sit. Please. I owe you the truth. I sat, the leather creaking under me, the rain a relentless drum. And then, in halting words that built like a confession in a dimly lit church, Jordan unraveled his perfect plan thread by thread. It started in Philly, he began, swirling the amber liquid in his glass, eyes fixed on some invisible point across the room. Wharton's second year. I was killing it. Top of my cohort, interning at Deloitte, dating this sorority girl named Becca who looked like she stepped out of a J. Crew catalog. Life was scripted, Alex. I had the playbook down cold. I nodded, sipping the scotch. Smooth burn down my throat, steadying the churn in my gut. I'd heard snippets of his college glory days before, the sanitized version over backyard barbecues. But this felt different, like peeling back wallpaper to find rot beneath. There was this guy in my econ seminar.
Eli Rivera.
Puerto Rican kid from the Bronx on full scholarship, sharp as a tack. He didn't buy into the frat boy bullshit. He'd argue with the prof until the room crackled. I hated him at first, called him a know-it-all in my head. Avoided his table in group projects. But then we got paired for a case study on market disruptions. Late nights in the library, pizza boxes piling up, and suddenly, I couldn't look away. He paused, tracing the rim of his glass with a fingertip, a ghost of a smile tugging at his lips. It was his laugh, Lex. Low and real, like he didn't give a damn who heard. And his hands, God, the way he'd gesture when he got passionate about ethical investing, like he was conducting an orchestra. I told myself it was admiration bro stuff. But one night, after too many Red Bulls, we were debating supply chains, and our knees brushed under the table. Neither of us moved. The air. It shifted. I shifted too, uncomfortable in my damp clothes, the photo burning a hole in my pocket. So what happened? Nothing. Not then. I bolted, made some excuse about a deadline, buried it under keg stands and Becca's perfume, graduated, landed in New York, climbed the ladder like a machine. Dates with women who checked every box, ambitious, connected, photogenic. But Eli? He was a ghost. We'd connect on LinkedIn, congrats on the job, that kind of thing, but I kept my distance. Until Davos 2 years ago. Davos. The World Economic Forum. That playground for the global elite where Jordan had rubbed shoulders with billionaires and policymakers. He'd come home buzzing, full of stories about textile talks and schmoozing sessions. Now I saw the undercurrent. Eli was there representing some nonprofit, sustainable AG in Latin America. We bumped into each other at the Congress Cafe, of all places, over terrible coffee and worse croissants. Fancy seeing you here, golden boy, he said, that grin like a dare. We talked for hours, missed a whole panel on climate finance. It was like no time had passed, but everything had. That night, at the after-party in some chalet overlooking the Alps, we ended up on a balcony, snow falling soft, and we kissed. The word hung there, simple and seismic. I pictured it. Jordan, my unflappable brother, vulnerable under a foreign sky, lips meeting another's in the hush of midnight. It was fireworks, Alex. Terrifying and right. We didn't sleep together, not like that, but we talked until dawn. About everything, the pressure, the hiding, the what-ifs. He was out, you know. Had been since undergrad. Said it wasn't easy, but it was honest. You deserve that too, he told me. But you didn't take it. He shook his head, regret etching lines around his eyes. Couldn't. Not with the promotion on the line, the network I'd built. Wall Street's no place for honest if it doesn't fit the mold. So I ghosted him. Blocked his number, skipped mutual events. Lauren came along right after, safe, familiar. I thought I could outrun it, build the life I was supposed to want. The rain eased to a patter, the kitchen clock ticking like a heartbeat. I leaned forward, elbows on knees. Then why the photo? Why now? Lauren found out. His voice dropped, a whisper of shame. We were packing for the Napa trip, old emails, a forgotten snapshot from a conference in Miami last year. Eli and I ran into each other there, shared a drink. Nothing happened, but the way I looked at him. She saw it. Confronted me last week. I lied at first. Just a colleague. But she pushed and it all spilled. She gave me an ultimatum. End it or she walks. And the letter? She wrote it this morning. Slipped it under the door before heading to her sister's. Said she loved me enough to let me go, but couldn't be the beard in my closet. He laughed, bitter and hollow. Beard. Like it's a punchline. I recoiled at the word, the ugliness of it. Jordan, my Jordan, who'd bandaged my scrapes and cheered my first art show, was reduced to a punchline? Rage bubbled up, hot and directionless. That bitch. After everything. No. He cut me off sharp. Don't. She's not the villain here. I am. I strung her along, built this facade because I was scared shitless. Of losing the job, the respect, the plan. Of losing. You. Me. The word caught, absurd. You're all I've got left that matters, Lex. Mom, Dad, he's a stranger now. If I came out, if it blew up. I thought you'd look at me different. Like I was broken. The scotch soured in my stomach. Broken. The guy who'd carried me through funerals and failures? Jordy, I'd never. You say that now. He met my eyes, raw plea in them. But growing up Catholic in Dorchester? The whispers about those kinds of people? I saw it in Dad's eyes when the news ran those stories, the AIDS crisis, the protests. Not my sons, he'd mutter. I internalized that crap. Built walls higher than the Prue. Silence stretched, thick as fog off the harbor. I thought of our childhood, Easter masses with Father O'Malley thundering about sin, the playground taunts when a kid's uncle got outed. I'd shielded Jordan from the worst, punching out bullies twice my size. But he'd shielded me from his own shadows. What about Eli? I asked finally, voice steady as I could make it. You love him. He exhaled, long and shaky. Yeah, terrifyingly so. He's home, Alex. Messy, opinionated home. But I pushed him away too. Last time we spoke after Miami, he said, I can't be your secret anymore. And he was right. The photo slipped from my fingers onto the table, Eli's face staring up. Strong jaw, kind eyes, the kind of guy who'd fight for what mattered. So what now? Wedding's off. Job's on the line. You gonna call him? Jordan's laugh was half sob. God, I want to. But the fallout. Lauren's connected. One word from her, and my career's toast. And the family, hell, even our extended crew in Southie. Aunt Meg would disown me faster than you can say, Hail Mary. Then fight it, I said, surprising myself with the fire. Not the hiding's what got you here. Be the guy who argues with profs and closes deals. Argue for this. He searched my face, hope flickering like a match in wind. You mean that? You'd stand with me. Always have, haven't I? I clapped his shoulder, felt the tension ease under my palm. We're Harrigans. We don't fold. We talked till the storm broke. Dawn painting the sky in bruised purples. Plans hatched, half-formed. A call to Lauren for closure, a tentative text to Eli. Can we talk? And me, his wingman through the wreckage. By the time I crashed on his couch, exhaustion pulling me under, a fragile peace settled. My brother wasn't perfect, he was human, cracked and beautiful. But peace is a liar. Especially when secrets fester. The next week blurred in a haze of damage control. Lauren met us at a neutral cafe in Arlington, her eyes red-rimmed but chin high. "I meant what I said," she told Jordan, voice even. "I care, but I deserve the whole you. That's not possible. Goodbye." He nodded, signing the NDA she drafted. Mutual silence on the details, a clean break. No scandals, no leaks. She hugged me on the way out, fierce and quick. "Take care of him, Alex. He's worth it." Work was trickier. Jordan's boss, a silver fox type named Harlan, pulled him aside post-promo review. "Heard whispers, son. Personal life's messy. Keep it that way." No outright threat, but the chill was arctic. Jordan doubled down, logging 80-hour weeks. His apartment a ghost town of takeout containers and unopened mail. Eli, though, that was the spark. Jordan's text got a reply within hours. "About damn time. Coffee. Neutral ground." They met at a quiet spot in Brooklyn, Eli's turf, and Jordan came home lit up, recounting it like a victory lap. "He's cautious, but he's in. Wants to take it slow, no more shadows." I high-fived him, ordered pizza to celebrate. For the first time in months, laughter filled the space, real rib-shaking stuff. We binge-watched old Sox highlights, trash-talking players like kids. "You're gonna be okay," I told him as he walked me to the door. "Better than okay." But doubt not. Whispers followed him at the firm, subtle digs in meetings, a skipped invite to the holiday mixer. And family? Thanksgiving loomed like a guillotine. Aunt Meg's annual bash in Quincy. The whole clan crammed into her colonial with turkey and tension. Jordan planned to go solo, play the jilted groom card. "No need to stir the pot yet," he said. I wasn't so sure. As November chilled the air, I threw myself into work. A series of portraits for a queer youth center in JP, faces alive with defiance and joy. It grounded me, reminded me of stakes beyond our bubble. One night, sketching by lamplight, my phone lit up. "Eli." "Hey, Alex. It's Eli Rivera. Jordan gave me your number. Mind if we chat?" My pencil stilled. "Sure. What's up?" "Not over text. Meet me? Tomorrow, lunch at the Barking Crab." Intrigue 1. The next day, bundled against the harbor wind, I spotted him at a picnic table. Curls tamed by a beanie, smile warm as he waved me over. Crab claws steamed between us, butter dripping like secrets. "You're the protector," he said, cracking a shell with precise force. "Jordan talks about you non-stop." "The Rock." I flushed, waving it off. "He's the Rock. Always has been." Eli's eyes softened, dark pools of understanding. "I get why he'd say that. But from what he shares, you two balance. He needs your fire, that unfiltered loyalty." We talked easy. His nonprofit grind, my art hustles, the shared ache of loving a man scared to love himself. "He's terrified of losing you," Eli admitted, shell fragments scattering. "Thinks coming out will shatter the family. But hiding, that's shattering him now." "I know." I speared a fry, the salt sharp on my tongue, pushing him to tell the truth with everyone. Eli nodded, respect in the tilt of his head. "Good. Because I want this, Alex. Him. All of him. But not if it means watching him drown." That convo lit a fire under me. I cornered Jordan that weekend. Post-run in the public garden, leaves crunching underfoot. "Thanksgiving. Tell Aunt Meg. Or I will." He stopped dead, breath fogging the crisp air. "What? Licks? No." "Yes." I grabbed his arm, held firm. "You're not alone in this. But you can't keep running. Eli deserves better. You deserve better." Panic flash, then resignation. "Fine. But if it goes south?" "It won't. Not with me there." Thanksgiving dawned gray and biting. Aunt Meg's house smelled of sage and simmering gravy, the table groaning under pies and politics. Cousins bantered, Uncle Ray droned about Trump, but tension hummed when Jordan and I arrived, him in a crisp button-down, me clutching a bottle of cab like a shield. Dinner flowed civil till dessert, when Meg cornered him by the sink. "Heard about Lauren, hon? That witch breaking your heart? Plenty more fish." Jordan's knuckles whitened on a plate. I nodded from the doorway, "Go time." "Actually, Aunt Meg, it's not about her." "Not really." She turned, brow furrowed. The room quieted, forks pausing mid-air. "I'm gay," he said, voice steady as steel. Have been my whole life. Lauren figured it out and, yeah, it's over. But I'm not hiding anymore. Silence crashed like a wave. Meg's face drained then flushed. Jordan Michael Harrigan, what in God's name? It's true. I jumped in, stepping forward. And he's the bravest guy I know. Our brother. Family. Murmurs rippled, shock whispers, a cousin's gasp. Uncle Ray sputtered. This some liberal nonsense from the city? But then Grandma Rose, frail in her corner armchair, rapped her cane. Enough. Boys got stones telling us. More than some in this room. Her eyes sharp as ever pinned Meg. We love him. End of story. Not everyone nodded. Ray stormed out for a smoke. Meg retreated to the kitchen muttering prayers. But Jordan exhaled, a weight lifting, and pulled me into a bear hug. Thanks, Lex. Eli texted later. Heard it went nuclear. You okay? Better than okay, I replied. We're free. December crept in, festive and fraught. Jordan went public at work. A quiet email to HR, followed by a team meeting where he owned it. This is me. Take it or leave it. Harlan grunted approval. A few associates thawed with awkward fist bumps. The firm didn't implode. Deals kept closing. With Eli it bloomed tentative. Dinners in low-key spots. Walks in Prospect Park bundled against the cold. Jordan brought him to Boston for my holiday art show. A pop-up in the seaport with neon-lit abstracts drawing a crowd. Eli fit seamless, charming my artist friends with tales of urban farms, his hand brushing Jordan's in quiet solidarity. Christmas Eve we three drove to Mom's grave in Holyhood Cemetery, snow dusting the headstone like lace. Jordan laid a poinsettia. Eli a small clay pot he'd handmade. For new roots, he murmured. I snapped a photo, them silhouetted against the sunset, arms linked, my brother whole. But betrayal lurks in the quiet corners. It hit on New Year's when Dad finally surfaced, a slurred voicemail at midnight. Heard from Meg. Your brothers. Unnatural. Don't need that shame in the family. Keep clear, son. I deleted it, rage boiling, but Jordan saw the call log. He what? Nothing. Old man's drunk. Tell me. I did, and something in him fractured. Not the fresh break, but a deep scar reopening. I knew it. The plan was bullshit because deep down, I knew I'd lose him anyway. You didn't lose me, I said fierce. Or Eli. Or us. He nodded, but the light dimmed. That night, as fireworks popped over the harbor, he stared out the window silent. I crashed early, woke to an empty apartment, Jordan gone, a note. Need air. Back soon. Love, Jay. Panic clawed. I called Eli, he hadn't heard. Hours ticked. Coffee cold, texts unread. By dusk my phone buzzed. Not Jordan. Harlan. Alex? Your brother's in trouble. Board meeting went south. Some leak about his lifestyle. Investors pulling out. He's barricaded in his office. Get here. The train to Penn Station felt like a coffin on rails, the Acella's hum mocking my racing pulse. I clutched my phone, refreshing Jordan's last scene. 6:47 a.m. A cryptic text to Eli. Can't do this anymore. Harlan's update had been terse. Not self-harm, kid. But he's spiraling. Talk him down. Eli met me at the platform, face ashen under the fluorescent buzz, a coffee in each fist. He didn't say goodbye, Eli murmured, handing me a steaming cup. Just that it was too much, the family fallout, the job threats. Blames himself for dragging me into the mess. We cabbed to Midtown, the city a blur of holiday garlands and grit. Goldman Sachs loomed like a monolith, security waving us up to the 42nd floor. Harlan waited by the elevators, tie yanked loose, a far cry from the boardroom shark. Elevator pitch, Alex. Some anonymous email hit inboxes this morning, screenshots of Jordan and Eli at that Brooklyn spot, tagged unfit for fiduciary duty. Boards in uproar. Clients are spooked. He's refusing to leave, says he'll resign on his terms. My stomach nodded. Betrayal's fingerprint, Lauren? A jealous colleague? Or worse, Dad's doing that voicemail a prelude to sabotage? Let me in. Harlan nodded to a frosted glass door, Jordan's name etched in gold. I knocked soft, then harder. Jordy? It's me. A shuffle, then the click of a lock. He looked wrecked, shirt untucked, eyes bloodshot. A half-empty scotch bottle on the desk amid spreadsheets and shattered coffee mug. The city sprawled beyond the windows, indifferent giants in glass towers. Go away, Lex. Voice muffled, head in hands. I fucked it all. I shut the door, crossed to him, pulled up a chair. Bullshit. Sit up. He did, slow defiance flickering. Look at this. He shoved his laptop over email chain, subject. Ethics breach. Harrigan's distraction. Grainy photos. Jordan and Eli laughing over dim sum. A stolen kiss in the park shadows. The sender? Anonymous, routed through some VPN in Virginia. Dad's old trucking haunt. It's him, Jordan whispered, venom lacing the words. Or someone he told. Meg called me yesterday. Said he was ranting at the VFW about family disgrace. Probably forwarded it to his poker buddies, one with Wall Street ties. Rage surged white hot. Our father, the ghost who'd mailed birthday cards with 20s folded inside. Never the man to sign them. I'll kill him. No. Jordan's hand clamped my wrist, grip iron. He's not worth it. None of this is. I built my life on sand. Pleasing phantoms, chasing approval from a man who couldn't love himself straight. Eli hovered by the door, silent sentinel, but Jordan clocked him. You too. I'm sorry. I thought I could shield you from this crap. But I just amplified it. Eli stepped forward, knelt eye level. Hey, we're in it together. Remember Davos? You said we fight smart, not scared. His thumb brushed Jordan's knuckles, a tether. Resign if you have to, but on your feet, not knees. The words hung a lifeline. Jordan's shoulders sagged, tears carving tracks. What if I lose everything? The career, the respect. You gain you, I cut in fierce. The brother I know doesn't fold. He pivots. Remember, Mom? Stage 4 docs giving months, she laughed and planned that road trip we never took. Life's detours, boys, she'd say. This is yours. He searched our faces, mine fierce, Eli's steady, and something shifted, a spark reigniting. Okay. Together. We strategized like old times. Jordan drafted a resignation letter. Gracious, no bridges burned, citing personal priorities. Harlan bargained, offered a lateral move to their impact investing arm. Where your authenticity's an asset, son. But Jordan held firm. New chapter. Thanks for the run. The board caved. Whispers died under NDAs. By evening he was free, unfettered if unmoored. We three decamped to Eli's Brooklyn brownstone. A cozy row house with exposed brick and herb pots on the fire escape. Jordan crashed hard, sleep claiming him on the couch under a quilt piece from his abuela's scraps. Eli's family heirloom. New Year's morning broke crisp, resolutions rewritten. Over arepas and black coffee, Eli pulled me aside. He's tough, but it'll scar. Thanks for being his North Star. Mutual, I said, clapping his back. You're good for him. Real. The city reset, horns blaring, confetti crunching underfoot. Jordan emerged renewed, vowing a sabbatical. Time to breathe, to build without blueprints. Maybe consult for Eli's nonprofit. Or something wild. Open a cafe in the village, serve lattes with a side of truth. Laughter bubbled, tentative but true. I flew back to Boston lighter, my mural gig wrapping with a gallery nod. Life hummed. Commission stacking, a tentative date with a photographer named Riley. Easy smiles, no pressure. But betrayal's echo lingered. Dad's silence stretched weeks. Then a letter arrived, typed, formal, postmarked Cleveland. Heard the news. Disappointed, but blood's blood. Don't expect me at holidays. No apology, just erasure. Jordan burned it in Eli's fireplace. Ashes swirling like released ghosts. His loss. Spring thawed the frost. Jordan dove into Eli's world. Urban farms sprouting in vacant lots. Kids from the projects learning soil over screens. He thrived, that old fire channeled into grants and growth. They went official. A quiet commitment ceremony in Prospect Park. Cherry blossoms raining petals. Just us, me officiating with vows cribbed from E. Cummings. A picnic of empanadas and craft beer. To detours, Jordan toasted Eli's ring. A hammered gold band catching the sun. I captured it in sketches. Their hands clasped, faces tilted in promise. Back home I pitched a series to a local mag. Brothers in Bloom. Portraits of queer families rewriting narratives. Sold my name in print, a quiet win. Yet conflict brewed subtle. Eli's crew. Activists with megaphones and manifestos push Jordan to go louder. Podcasts, panels, the full advocate glow up. Own the narrative. They'd urge at strategy sessions in crowded lofts. He resisted, wary of the spotlight's glare. I'm not a poster boy. Just a guy figuring it out. Tensions simmered. One night, post a fundraiser gala. Jordan in a slim fit tux. Eli's hand warm on his back. A drunk donor cornered him. So the gay VP flop? Heard you tank Goldman. Brave or stupid? Jordan froze, charm fracturing. Eli pulled him away, but the barb lodged. In the cab home, silence thickened. He's right, Jordan muttered. I'm a punchline. Dragging you down. Eli's jaw set. Screw that. We're building something real, farms feeding hundreds, policies shifting. That's not a flop. But the stares, the whispers. Jordan trailed, vulnerability cracking through. I got the frantic call at 2 a.m. Jordan voice edged. Can you come? Need backup. I was on the next flight, landing to a Brooklyn dawn hazy with promise. They met me at a greasy spoon, pancakes cooling untouched. It's not you, Eli said, exhaustion carving hollows, it's the weight. Society's bullshit expectations, be out, be loud, or be invisible. Jordan nodded, fork pushing eggs. I want this, us, the work. But some days it feels like I'm apologizing for existing. We hashed it over refills. Boundaries therapy, Eli's idea. A queer-affirming counselor in Chelsea. Not to fix you, he clarified, but to unpack the baggage. Jordan agreed, tentative. Sessions started weekly, a space to voice the scars, dad's rejection, mom's unspoken fears, the closet's claustrophobia. I joined once, family module. We cried over shared grief, laughter sneaking in at memories of mom's terrible Jell-O salads. Summer swelled, humid and hopeful. Jordan's consulting gig bloomed. Advising startups on ethical finance, his Rolodex gold. Eli's nonprofit expanded. A rooftop garden in Harlem yielding tomatoes by the crate. They traveled. A road trip upstate, cabins by glassy lakes, fishing poles idle as they talked futures. I visited in July, 4th of July barbecue on Eli's stoop. Grills smoking, neighbors mingling, rainbow flags fluttering lazy. Jordan pulled me aside, beer in hand. Never thought I'd have this. You gave me the shove. Nah, I grinned. You had it in you. Just needed a mirror. Fireworks cracked overhead. Bursts of red and gold. In that glow, betrayal felt distant. A scar, not a shackle. But high tides pull under. August brought the call. Aunt Meg, voice quavering. Your father's sick, Alex. Liver bad. Asking for Jordan. Says he was wrong. Jordan's face when I relate it, storm clouds gathering. After everything? Now he wants absolution. Up to you, I said neutral. But Mom would have wanted grace.
He Steved. Paste Elias kitchen till floorboards groaned.
Eli weighed in gentle. Go if it heals. Or don't if it reopens. The decision came midnight, Jordan's text. Flying out tomorrow. Come. Cleveland baked under a merciless sun. The airport a time warp to Dad's old stories. Steel mills shuttered, rust belt ghosts. We rented a nondescript sedan, drove to the VA hospital in Parma. Corridors echoing with coughs and regret. Dad lay shrunken in the bed, tubes snaking. Eyes milky but sharp. Boys, he rasped, gaze flicking between us. No embrace, just a nod. Heard you quit the big time, Jordy. For that. Jordan stiffened beside me, but inhaled deep. For me, Dad. The truth. You could have had that too. A cough racked him, phlegm and pride. World's hard. Did what I thought right. Right for who? Jordan's voice cracked, but held. Not for us. Silence stretched, monitors beeping metronome. Then soft. Saw your ma in a dream. Said forgive Tommy. Always the soft touch. Dad's hand, gnarled, trucker's calluses extended. Jordan hesitated, then took it.
Ido.
But don't expect parades. We stayed 2 days. Awkward meals in the cafeteria. Stories unearthed like fossils. Dad's youth, a closeted fling in the Navy cut short by shame. Times were different, he muttered. Not excuse but explanation. On the flight home, Jordan stared out the window, clouds cotton below. Didn't fix everything. But it's something. Eli met us at LaGuardia, arms open. Proud of you. Fall whispered in, leaves turning torchlit. Jordan's therapy deepened. He started a blog. Anonymous essays on queer finance, vulnerability in boardrooms. It went viral. Quiet shares from fintech influencers, invites to podcasts. I wrapped a book deal off my portraits. Shadows to light. Queer kinship in America. Launch party in Boston. Jordan and Eli flying up, toasting amid twinkling string lights. But climax crests unbidden. Halloween Eve, a brick through Eli's brownstone window. Glass shattering at 3 a.m. A note taped to the shard. Fags go home. Police report filed, but the chill seeped. Hates anonymous face, uglier than dad's silence. Jordan raged, then channeled a op-ed in the Times. From closet to crosshairs. Why Wall Street needs out allies. It exploded. Debates on CNBC, senators chiming in. Harlan called. Miss you, kid. Doors open if you want. He didn't. Instead, with Eli, they founded Rooted Capital. A fund for LGBTQ+ led ventures. Seed money for farms and futures. Launch gala in Soho, black tie with a twist. Donor packet stuffed with soil samples. Grow with us. I am seed heart full, watching Jordan command the room. Poised, passionate, his hand finding Eli's under the podium. Winter gripped New York like a vice, but Jordan's world thawed into possibility. Rooted Capital's first investments rolled out. A app for queer mental health in Oakland. A co-op bakery in Atlanta run by trans bakers. He thrived in the chaos. Pitch meetings in coffee-scented lofts. Late nights crunching projections with Eli's nonprofit crew. It's not Wall Street, he'd grin over video calls, but it feels right. Like breathing. I visited in January. Snow blanketing the streets and hush. We three holed up in the brownstone, repaired window a faint scar. Simmering pozole from Eli's abuela's recipe, stories flowing like wine. Jordan opened up more, therapy's gift. The fear of rejection morphing to fuel. Coming out to you that night? Best decision. Worst hangover though. Laughter echoed, easy. Eli and I bonded over playlists, his salsa mixes clashing my indie folk, while Jordan sketched business plans on napkins, eyes alight. You two are trouble, he teased, pulling us into hugs. Back in Boston, my book hit shelves, signings at indie shops drawing lines of young artists hungry for stories like mine. Riley and I deepened, weekend hikes in the Blue Hills, his camera capturing my sketches in situ. You're glowing, Alex, he said one dusk, lips brushing my temple. Your brother's ripple? Something like that. Jordan's courage was contagious. A permission slip for my own truths. But conflict simmers before it boils. February brought Dad's decline, hospice now, a sparse room in a facility off Lake Erie. Jordan flew solo this time, me covering the fund's Boston outreach. He returned hollowed, calling from the tarmac. He's gone, Lex. Peaceful. Asked for you, said tell you he's sorry. For the art you sent he never framed. Grief hit staggered. We buried him in a sparse service, Meg presiding. A handful of trucking buddies in ill-fit suits. Jordan spoke, voice steady. He tried in his way. We released the rest. No tears but release. A chapter closed, not with fanfare but finality. Eli anchored him through it, their bond deepening in quiet ways. Sunrise runs along the East River, hands clasped against the cold. I joined for the funeral, then stayed a week, helping sort Dad's effects, a box of faded photos unearthed. Us as toddlers on his knee, Mom radiant beside. Look at that grin, Jordan murmured, tracing her face. She knew we'd be okay. Spring unfurled tentative, cherry blossoms defiant against late frosts. Rooted Capital boomed, media buzz. A TEDx slot for Jordan on investing in invisible lives. He nailed it, stage lights catching the gold in his eyes. Eli in the front row beaming. Backstage they kissed fierce, unhurried, me averting eyes with a chuckle. Get a room, you saps. Working on it. Eli winked and announced over post-talk dim sum. A ring, simple tungsten, slipped on Jordan's finger. Not marriage yet. But promise. Jordan's face, pure wonder. Yes. All in. I hooped, ordering extra dumplings. That night we crashed a karaoke bar in the village, belting Sweet Caroline off-key. Arms linked like kids. My life synced. Riley moved in our South End, walk up a canvas of his prints and my murals. The book tour wrapped in Cali, panels on queer narratives drawing crowds. One Q&A, a teen asked, How'd you find courage? I thought of Jordan's rainy confession. My brother showed me. Truth's a chain reaction. Summer peaked in heat waves, the fun's inaugural retreat in the Catskills. Cabins by a whispering stream, team-building hikes and bonfire visioning. Jordan led with grace, sharing his pivot. I thought perfection was a straight line. Turns out it's the curves that count. Eli squeezed his hand under stars, fireflies winking approval. But betrayal's shadow lengthens before noon. August, a whistleblower email hit Rooted's board. Anonymous again. Alleging Jordan skimmed grants for personal gain. Fabricated docs attached. Inflated invoices, wires to offshore shells. Panic rippled. Investors froze, Eli's face crumpling in the war room. This can't. It can, Jordan said, grim, jaw set. Someone's gunning. Old Goldman grudge? Or deeper? We dug. IP traces led to a VPN in Boston. Southie zip, Aunt Meg's block. Confrontation came swift. I drove Jordan shotgun, Eli on speaker for moral support. Meg's bungalow sagged under Virginia creeper. Her at the door in a housecoat, eyes wide. You. Jordan's voice thrummed hurt. The emails? The sabotage. She deflated, gesturing us in. Kitchen table sticky with tea rings, confession spilled. Dad's deathbed ravings, her own bigotry festering. Thought I was protecting the family name. She'd hired a PI, leaked to rivals, even the brick. Feared you'd drag us all down. Rage warred with pity. This woman who'd baked us cookies, now poison. Jordan's hand shook. Protecting? You nearly destroyed me. Us.
Megvept, apology stumbling.
I was wrong. Church fear blinded me. Forgive. Not yet, he said cold. Maybe never. But we're done hiding from you, from anyone. We left her sobbing, the drive back a blur of salt-streaked silence. Jordan called lawyers, the board cleared him quick. Docs debunked as Photoshop hacks. But trust fractured, donors wary. Climax crested that September equinox. A storm lashing the coast. Rooted teetered, pledges pulled. Eli's farms idled without cash flow. Jordan paced the brownstone, whiskey in fist. I can't lose this. It's all I have left that's real. You won't, Eli vowed, pulling him close. We pivot. Again. The idea sparked desperate. A crowdfunding blitz, live-streamed gala from a reclaimed warehouse in Dumbo. I flew in, rallying my network, artists, influencers, queer icons. Save the soil, we branded, tying funds to tangible growth. Seedlings shipped to backers, virtual farm tours. Launch night thrummed electric, warehouse aglow with Edison bulbs, projections of verdant fields, dancing walls. Jordan emceed, voice raw. This isn't about one man's mess. It's about roots, deep, defiant. We've been betrayed, buried, but we grow anyway. Eli joined him on stage, hands clasped. Together. Pledges poured, $500K in hours, celebs chiming via video, a certain billionaire's tweet. Invest in people, not perfection. Rooted capital. By midnight, goals smashed, tears flowed free. Backstage, Jordan crushed me in a hug. Couldn't without you, Lex. Family, I murmured, meaning it wider now, blood, chosen, forged. Fall deepened, colors riotous. Meg faded to periphery. A Christmas card unanswered. Dad's estate settled meager. But Jordan donated it to Rooted's scholarship arm. Eli and he planned a proper wedding. Spring, Hudson Valley barn, wildflowers and witnesses. My world steadied. Riley and I adopted a mutt named Scout. Walks at dawn sketching cityscapes. The book's paperback dropped, forward by Jordan. My brother saw me first. Grateful. November chill nipped but warmth held. Thanksgiving reclaimed. Our table, no Meg but Eli's family. Boisterous tios grilling lechon, cousins dancing merengue in the living room. Jordan carved the bird. Eyes on Eli across the chaos. To us, he toasted. Gratitude swelled, profound. Yet romance weaves through thorns. December, a donor dinner turned pivotal. A venture capitalist, sharp-eyed and silver-haired, pitched a merger, fold Rooted into her impact fund, scale national. Your story sells, she said over foie gras. Authentic. Magnetic. Jordan bristled post-meal, cab ride tense. Story? Like we're a brand. Eli soothed but seed planted doubt. It's opportunity. But on our terms. Negotiations dragged January, clauses nitpicked. Jordan confided nightly. Feels like selling out. Again. Or scaling up. I countered from Boston, snow piling window ledges. Your call. Decision came Valentine's, heartsick mid-blizzard. They chose no independence over empire. We're not for sale, Jordan announced in a press release viral for its grit. Backlash brief. Loyalty surged, new backers flocking. Spring bloomed literal. Wedding weekend, April showers greening the valley. I stood best man Riley beside, scout in a bow tie boarding the inn's porch. Barn doors swung wide, Jordan in linen suit, Eli in embroidered guayabera. Vows exchanged to birdsong and breeze. With you I'm home, Jordan said, ring sliding home. Eli's reply. And you're my revolution. Kiss sealed, cheers erupted, our patchwork family. Eli's crew, my artist pals, even a reformed Harlan toasting. Reception spilled into fields, fairy lights twinkling. A playlist blending Springsteen and Bad Bunny. I danced with Riley under stars, his whisper. Think we'll get here? Sooner. I promised, heart full. But humanism tempers joy. Post-honeymoon, 2 weeks island hopping Puerto Rico, Eli's roots. Jordan got a scan, routine but shadows on the lung. Probably nothing, Doc said, but biopsy loomed. Waiting weeks stretched eternal. We rallied, me flying down, Riley on calls. Results came May 1st, lilacs bursting outside the clinic. Benign, a scar from childhood pneumonia. Relief crash title. Jordan wept in Eli's arms, me holding space. Dodged a bullet, he gasped. Or learned to aim, Eli quipped, light piercing dark. Summer solstice, Rooted's 1 year. Gala in Central Park, picnic style under oaks. Jordan keynote. Betrayals taught me. Love isn't plan. It's presence. Eli beside, hand in his partner's equals. I watched sketching furtive. Their profiles etched in sunset gold. Autumn wove gold through the city. Leaves carpeting Brooklyn sidewalks like confetti from a year well lived. Rooted capital stabilized, its portfolio a mosaic of resilience. The Oakland app hitting 1 million downloads, Atlanta's bakery franchising to the south. Jordan navigated it with seasoned grace, his essays now a Substack sensation. The Queer Ledger. Blending finance with frank heart. Subscribers poured in not for tips but truths. Eli and he settled deeper into rhythm. Mornings co-plotting over cafecito, evenings on the stoop with neighbors, debates on policy turning to dreams of kids, maybe via surrogacy down the line. A little one with your stubborn streak, Eli teased one night, Jordan's laugh rich as the stew simmering. I visited often, Riley in tow, our quartet seamless. Scout romped in dog parks, fetching sticks while we four-hiked the Palisades, picnics of prosciutto and prosecco. This, Riley said once, arm around me atop a bluff, Hudson glittering below, is the good stuff. It was. My studio flourished, commissions for murals in Philly's neighborhood, a solo show at the ICA, fractured frames, portraits of brothers, lovers, survivors. Opening night, Jordan and Eli flew up, toasting with Kendall Jackson amid critics' murmurs. You're the storyteller now, Jordan said, clinking glasses. Proud. Winter's cusp brought reflection. Dad's first death anniversary, we three drove to Holyhood. Mom's stone first, then a scatter of his ashes in the Charles vial from the estate. To detours, Jordan murmured, wind whipping Eli's arm steady. No ghosts haunted, just peace, hard one. Back in Boston, I penned the afterword for my book's second printing. Truth isn't endpoint. It's the path we walk, hand in hand. Climax's echo faded, but emotion's tide ebbed slow. New Year's approached, a decade's turn. We planned intimate, brownstone bash, just us and a dozen close. Fire crackling, fondue bubbling, resolutions whispered at midnight. Jordan pulled me onto the fire escape pre-countdown, city pulse below. That night, the rain, the letter. Feels lifetimes ago. Does, I agreed, breath fogging. You were brave. Still are. He shook his head, humble. You saw me. That's the bravery.
Horns blared Auld Lang Syne. We clinked, confetti swirling.
Eli claimed Jordan for a slow dance in the living room, Sinatra crooning The Way You Look Tonight. Bodies swaying close. Riley tugged me close too, our kiss soft, promising. To us all. Spring cycled eternal, weddings and wonders. Rooted expanded west. Jordan keynoting at South by Southwest. Finance isn't numbers. It's futures. Crowd roared. Eli beamed from wings. My life layered richer. Riley and I bought a fixer-upper in Jamaica Plain. Walls awaiting our mark. Scout puppy to littermate, chaos doubling joy. Betrayal's lessons lingered. Not as chains but compass. Meg reached out tentative, a letter handwritten. Saw your op-ed learned late but learning. Door open. Jordan replied civil. Time heals. We'll see. Humanism's arc. Not erasure but evolution. Forgiveness optional but growth mandatory. One June dawn Jordan called breathless. Eli proposed again. Full ceremony, this time with vows in Spanish. You in. Best man round 2? I laughed. Obviously. The wedding July, a vineyard in Sonoma, grapes heavy on vines. Sun dipped golden as they exchanged bands anew. Officiant a mutual prof from Wharton days.
En presencia de amor, Eli vowed, te elijo siempre.
Jordan's reply, eyes locked. And I you through every storm. Reception spilled into twilight, toasts flowing. Harlan on reinvention, my words on brotherhood. You didn't just confess a truth, I said, glass raised. You claimed a life. Taught me mine. Tears glistened, cheers thundered. Dance floor ignited, salsa steps from Eli's tios, line dances from my crew. Under stars Jordan and I stole a brother moment, beers in hand. Perfect plan, he mused. Nah. But this us them it's poetry. Damn right. Years blurred forward, chapters compounding. Rooted went global, microloans to queer farmers in Kenya. Jordan authored a bestseller. The Unscripted Investor, forward by Eli. He bet on us. Best return. I illustrated the cover. 2 hands clasped over a sprouting seed, roots delving deep. Riley and I wed quiet, a JP courthouse affair. Then party in our garden, Jordan emceeing scout ring bearer. To detours divine, he toasted. Kids came. There's first a boy via surrogate Mateo, curls like Eli's, eyes Jordan's blue. We spoiled him rotten, Uncle Alex's murals adorning his nursery. Ours followed, adopted twins, girls with Riley's freckles, my fire. Playdates in parks, chaos of sippy cups in story time. Aging crept gentle. Jordan's hair silvering at temples, Eli's laugh lines etching joy. They mentored, advocated. Senate testimonies on inclusive finance, hands clasped defiant. I grade 2, canvas broadening. Exhibits in MoMA, books on kinship. Riley's photos paired my art, joint shows drawing crowds. Betrayals? Faded footnotes. Dad's shadow dissolved in time's mercy. Meg's a distant aunt at holidays thawed slow. One autumn eve, decades on, we 4. Now 6 with grandkids toddling, gathered at the old Dorchester house, sold but revisited. Porch swing creaked as we sipped cider, Mateo sketching beside. Remember the rain? Jordan asked, arm around Eli. How could I forget? I grinned, Riley's hand in mine. Laughter rose, full circle. Life's not plan but presence, messy, profound. In that we found perfection. Not flawless but fiercely ours. The end? No endings are illusions. We keep confessing, keep loving, keep growing. Under Boston stars, brothers eternal.